Alrighty.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
So, I'm going to tell you guys about the story of Julius Caesar and how he got kidnapped by pirates.
Alright!
That's bullshit.
A 25-year-old Julius Caesar is just sailing on the Aegean Sea for some reason, I don't know. And he's just like, hey, we're having a good time on the Aegean Sea. Let's just drink and party and whatever. And then, all of a sudden, these Sicilian pirates are just like, hey, let's just, like, take Julius Caesar kidnap. Like, let's just kidnap Julius Caesar. And so they're like, hey, Julius Caesar, we're taking you hostage, so yeah, you need to get off your boat and come on ours. And he's like, okay. So he's just, so they're like, okay, your ransom is 20 flecks of silver, which is like $600,000 worth of silver in that time. And he's like, no, it's gonna be 50. It's gonna be 50 flecks of silver because I'm fucking Julius Caesar. And so they're like, oh, okay, we can swing that. Yeah, 50 flecks of silver. And so he sends most of his servants out like, hey, go get 50 flecks of silver. I'll call you when all this is blown over, whatever. And so he has like 2 of his servants and 1 of his friends with him. That's all he can bring with him. And when he's on the boat with the pirates, he's like, hey, I know you guys are like ransoming me, but you know what? I'm gonna act like you guys are like my subordinates. So, you know, I'm Julius Caesar, and don't breathe or make noise when I'm napping, and don't do anything while I'm sleeping. That's the only rule. Otherwise, everybody's cool. It's fine. And then, so for the 38 days that it takes for his servants to pick up the 50 flecks of silver.
38 days.
38 days. It takes them 38 days to pick up that much silver. And
There's no Amazon.
he's
They didn't even like have cell phones.
They didn't. They really didn't.
No, overnight
Because
shipping?
it was, I don't even know how
Who the
long
fuck
ago
are
it
they gonna
was.
call anyway?
That's a
But-
lot of time, like sitting
That's a
around
lot of
bored
time.
with nothing
But
to
he-
do.
But he sat on the boat and he was and on the island and he was just like, hey, no, I'll play games with you guys and I'll like let's write poetry together. Like let's drink and whatever. But hey, and one evening he was with the captain of the ship and he was like, hey, I know we're having a good time, but I'm gonna crucify you because you fucking kidnapped me. And then the captain was just like, oh, you're funny. He's like, yeah, I'm funny. No, I'm gonna fucking crucify you because you kidnapped me from my ship while I was casually sailing the Aegean Sea. And they didn't take him seriously. So after his servants came and were like, oh yeah, we pay the 38 flecks of silver or the 50 flecks of silver, and then like Caesar's just like, hey, I wrote poetry with them and everything's cool, but let's just make a loop around the island and then go to the let's just explore a little bit. So they go back to Rome or whatever, and he's just like, hey, these people like wanted money for me and I'm Julius Caesar. I don't understand that. And they were like, oh, you need to bring those people back and sell them for slavery. And he was like, okay, all right, I'll do that. And then when he gets on the boat with his servants and the whole militia that they've congregated, he's like, hey, you guys, I know they told us to like sell them for slavery. We're gonna fucking crucify him. We're gonna crucify him, and it's gonna be hilarious. We're gonna have a huge thing. It's fine. We're Romans. But
Go team.
and they get back to Sicily, and they're like, hey, I know you just paid like 50 flecks of silver for me, so I'm gonna take all your money and all your women, and I'm gonna burn down your city, and I'm gonna crucify you. If that's cool. That's totally fine. And he crucifies them and everything, and he just rides back to Rome, and he's just like, yeah, fucking Julius Caesar. And that's the story of how Julius Caesar was an arrogant butthole.
Bravo.
And I just
Julius
feel-
Caesar, arrogant butthole. By Gaige Johnson.
Gaige Johnson.
Epitaph ever.